How are you guys doing this morning? So here's what we're gonna do. And some of you guys have been in training with me, others have not. I'm very laid back. I like to go in a structure, but I'm very laid back and I like interaction, okay? So I'll be asking you different things. I have an outline of what I want to talk about. Full disclosure, I made the outline after Movies in the Park last night, so I may get a little bit. We have Movies in the Park in our neighborhood, and so it was late when I did this. But I was telling Sarah Catherine when she asked me to do this, I was like, what's something that would be really important to me? One of the things that she doesn't know is that as a consultant in this very room, I think it may have been the first time I was trying to make Star Consultant. I sat in that little spot over there and I was like terrified because Star Consultant seemed so big and out of reach. This is how small my faith was when I started. My faith in myself as a salesperson. I would sit by the Star Consultant poster, but in my head I was like, there's no way in the world I could ever do that. And I remember sitting here and she was sitting and she was training. And she spoke life into me. She probably doesn't even remember because I was just like a new consultant, but it really stood out to me. And so to be in this room training is kind of awesome because I remember that. So here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about three things. One of the things that I'll let you guys know, I kind of shared it with them, is that I work full time. So I know a lot of times, the question is, well, how do you work full time? I'll tell you what I do. So I work at UAB. Which is, I think everybody here is from here. Okay, so I work in research in preventive medicine. I've been there for 15 years. And there are two things that I do. I run a type 2 diabetes study with elderly patients. I've been doing that for 15 years. And I run a men's health center. And the men's health center has a national component. And so I've been doing that since 2013. So life is busy. It's not like, a nice, relaxing, cushy job. Sometimes it gets to be really daunting. So oftentimes people will say, even my colleagues, how are you able to work this job and do Mary Kay? But what they don't know, and a lot of people don't know, is that we fit Mary Kay into our lives, right? Mary Kay does not. I think people think that it sucks you in and you have no control, right? You lose all control. You just got to go for it and you got to go. And it's not like that. So one thing that I do is I have to work very strategic. I can't necessarily do all that I see everyone do, but what I can, I'm strategic about it. And I'm going to talk to you guys about some of those things when I try to outline, like, what is it? And the first thing is to be passionate. So when you think about passionate, here's the interaction part. What's the definition of passionate? Like, what do you think of when you think of the word passionate?
Giving it your all.
Giving it your all.
Something you feel very strongly about.
Something you feel strongly about.
Something you do.
Something you do.
If you didn't get paid for it.
Yeah.
Something that drives you.
Something that, So let me tell you guys something really funny. All my life, my family has called me passionate. That's been my nickname. And so when I was a little girl, my mother said that if someone seemed injured or if they seemed hurt or whatever, if anyone seemed like something was wrong, I went to them to see if I could fix it. And then I showed so much compassion and I felt so strongly. So all my life, I was passionate. As a matter of fact, I did two parties in Mississippi a couple months ago, and I just realized that some of those people did not know that my real name is Sheikilya. Like, you know how you have a nickname in the area? My family lives in a rural part of Mississippi. And so when I was doing the calls, you're calling beforehand, get skin tight. The lady seemed a little bit like she didn't remember me. And I was like, okay, well, maybe she's having a rough day. And when I got to the party, she was like, I had no idea that your name was Sheikilya. I thought your name was Passionate. And I explained that's my nickname. See, that's the thing with nicknames, right? Like, if it's universal, then all of a sudden, like, your government just goes out the door, right? No one knows if you have a real name. So it wasn't until college that I really stopped allowing that, because then you learn like another form of passion. I was like, oh no, this is about at all. So Shaq kind of took over. Shaq started coming around in middle school, and Shaq stayed with me. Shaq is much cleaner. You don't have to explain Shaq like to be passionate. But even now, if I'm somewhere and I hear someone say, hey, passionate, I know that it's either family or it's someone from Mississippi. But I'm strong feelings. And so one thing that I am is I am a very passionate person, even if I'm not super demonstrative. And I talk about that often. I am not. We did the personality types on Monday. And so anyone in here know their personality type. And when you think of someone who's passionate, what would you think of as the first personality type for a passionate person?
Excited.
Yes. Yeah. So a lot of times you'll think of an I. I is my lowest. And I think the reason why people will automatically think of an I is because an I does kind of live out loud, and what's inside is shown more than maybe some of the others. My dominant one is C, and then the next two were titles D and S. But I'm a very passionate person. The first thing I'm passionate about are the products. So when I say being passionate about the products, that means personal use. So I told them out front, my husband's like, wait, what? You're going to do Mary Kay? You don't wear makeup. And I was like, they'll teach me. I wasn't going to go and try other products. I was going to use what I was going to be selling. I'm passionate about what I'm going to do. And so I'm going to learn. And I just immersed myself in the different products. And I think that's important, whether you're a new consultant, whether you're a seasoned consultant, just look and see how many products do you use daily? Like how many Mary Kay products do you use? Because what I've learned is that what you use, you sell. All of a sudden, like I remember when I wasn't using the Skin Invigorate brush and then I started using, all of a sudden sales were out the roof. I was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. No, lady, it's not crazy. You're using it. You're able to talk about what you're using. So personal use is really important. Also personal knowledge. So there are going to be some things that maybe you are not going to use. I am not going to use the men's line, but I live with 4 men. Well, only 1 man really, and then 3 still 3 men. But I'm going to put, I think even if it's not something you're going to try for yourself, try to get family members so you can speak to your team members, your sister consultants about the product to future customers who have questions. So you can get personal knowledge, not only from personal use, but asking, your husband or asking your brother to try this or to try that. The other thing, success stories. So what's really important in this company is customer service. And so here's what comes from customer service, whether you're doing the 2 + 2 + 2, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, or whether you have a customized one. When you follow up with your customers, you're going to find out either that they need to try something different or that they love it. And when they love it and you talk to them about it, keep that. If you have to make a note, keep that in your mind because that becomes a success story that you can tell someone else who's considering it. So let's say you have a customer who's battled with acne forever and they've got scarring, and you have a customer who the even complexion line, which that's going to be interesting for people that one's going away, but that's worked really well for them. And then you're able to use that information, right? So it makes you more knowledgeable. Yes, our company's laid out some fantastic things in the back of our lookbook, even on our profile sheet to kind of help us. But think about how much more effective of a consultant you are when you have that personal knowledge from your customers. So what that means is you got to be doing on-the-face appointments, right? You have to get people on product, and not just eyeshadows. If that's where you get in the door with someone, fine. But see if she'll let you sit down with her and get her on a skincare set. My DIQ often says skincare customers are sticky customers, like you like sticky customers, because you'll keep an eyeshadow forever. Like full disclosure, the eyeshadows that I got in my, like your first 15 days, I started May 30th, 2014. Those eyeshadows, I use them all the time. I still have them. If I were only eyeshadow, and so think about that. Think about your personal use of the product. See what you can get on skincare. It's fantastic skincare, and there's something for everyone. And so when you get, whether you're doing Glow and Tell, which I hope people realize is still going on. It's not like it was just, what was that last career conference when it really kind of kicked off, but it's still going on, getting Glow and Tell, because that power of seeing what a person looked like when they started and then 21 days later is something that can really benefit. I have a new consultant who did Clear Proof with her 14-year-old son. And she was moving really slowly, and I wasn't sure if she thought this was for her. And seeing the result, comparing what happened with her son's skin really just kind of motivated her for the business. So not just with your customers, seeing is believing. You get someone on that Glow and Tell, even if they can't see it daily, you get them to set them beside themselves. Natalie did a fantastic comparison. It was, I forget the different months, but just showing the step, and that has changed the game for a lot of people in our unit. Just showing the even complexion mask and the essence, and just showing, because a lot of times people say something's not working because they tried it 2 days, right? And we're in that microwave society, like, oh, I did this 2 days, it's not working. No. To be able to show, this is what a real person, these are the results that she had, okay? The other thing that's important to be passionate about is opportunity. And so, what we did out there was just kind of give a quick rundown about what it is that we like about the business, what we've made happen. Anyone in here can do that very same thing, because you're not always going to have the opportunity to have your director talk to someone. Sometimes it's going to be, like we talk in the business world, talk about like an elevator conversation. Sometimes you need to already have in your mind those things that are key points about your business, what you love, what, maybe what was a surprise to you, because you may not always have an opportunity to schedule a share. Sometimes you're sharing just by what you're living out in front of people. So have an I story, have an I story, not one that's just for the parties, because the one for the party, you're able to think about more, you have more time. But you want to think about what it is that you love about the business. And sometimes it may be different than why you join. For me, I joined for $200 a month. That's what I joined for. $200 a month was going to make me happy. We were going to set that aside for things with the boys. And I was going to feel like, that this was a good decision that I made. And that quickly changed. I didn't know about the positivity. I didn't realize that I was, existing in a pretty negative environment. By nature, research is looking for problems, right? So you become a negative person, not even realizing it, because what you do is you look for a problem, or if you're looking at someone else who's presenting, you look for the problems in their presentation. I'm being so transparent. You write a manuscript, they tell you what all the things that are wrong with it, and all of a sudden, she's also in research, as you hear the yeah, it's a really negative environment, and you don't know. You become so much, I guess, not immune to it, but it's like you kind of fit in and you don't know. And so the positivity each Monday night, it's so crazy to walk in here and think about what Monday has been sometimes, and then to walk in here with this group of ladies. And I'm just like, people don't even understand what this is. Like, it really is. And so that's something that I'm passionate about. And when they talk about it at work, I don't know how you go anywhere else after here. It's because you don't know where I'm going. And then that's going to be a share. She doesn't know she's being shared with, but I'm about to share with her because she needs it too. So other things, quick ways to remember how to share, with the Mrs. Cab. Everyone's familiar with Mrs. Cab, right? Yes, no, maybe. Mrs. Cab. So whenever you are running down and you don't have any materials with you, you can remember Mrs. Cab. M, these are 6 reasons why women do Mary Kay. M being money, R, recognition, S, self-improvement, C, cars, A, advancement, and then B, be your own boss. So if you don't have any materials in your hand, Mrs. Cab is a really good acronym to kind of guide you, and know that if you forget what one of them is, she doesn't know. You always know more than she knows, right? So don't be like, oh, wait. Don't worry about it, okay? Like, So Mrs. Cab, money, recognition, self-improvement, self-esteem, cars, advancement, and then be your own boss. There's also a new one that I think what's the NSD? Last name is Evans.
Rebecca Evans.
Rebecca Evans. Have you seen her new card that she has? Okay. So Beverly has this. You all, I love this.
Mary Kay one.
Yes. So she's so go give that she actually is allowing other people to take this. She has it on her website. You can print it off. So it has the starter kit, price and contents on the back. Rebecca Evans.
And you spell Rebecca with 2 B's and I think 2 C's.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 B's and 2 C's.
And it's on her website. She even said to feel free. She's got it as a JPEG if you want to text it, to feel free to use it. She just asked that if you take it and you modify it and you make it better, that you send it back to her. So she said, if you guys improve it, just send it back to me, please. And so, I think that's awesome that she's willing to do this. Here's what I like about this. Similar to Mrs. Cab, it's Mary Kay, and so you can use this JPEG to even share, where M is money, A, automobiles, R, recognition, Y, you're the boss, K, key priorities, A, advancement, then Y, you. And so what she's done at leadership is she even gave us like some opening questions for this, which I listen to that often because I love it. Just kind of getting to the why. It goes back again to being passionate. If you're passionate about it, and then you're finding out when you're passionate about something, a lot of times it leads you to want to find out what someone else is passionate about. And then that kind of guides a sharing appointment. And like I said, I know, for most people, the shares are going to be done by your director, but there are times where scheduling with your director may not be a possibility. Don't miss out on the opportunity because you know enough. Okay, as long as you don't ask someone if they want to sell Mary Kay. Don't ask anyone. Let's all touch and agree. Don't never ask anyone if they want to sell Mary Kay. You want to pass that around? Yeah. Okay. Also, I think it's important to know the company history. So just like I loved what Beverly just shared, and I never knew that, but I'm going to remember that. Sometimes I can't remember people's names, but I can remember their story. And then I love that. I'm the type of woman that if you tell me that I can't do something, that is the very best way for me to get it done. So much so that I need somebody to tell me that I can't do some of the things on my co-poster right now. Like I need to motivate. Tell me you can't do that. So, but yeah, like know your company history. Know when it was founded. Know, think about that culture and think about what it is that she made happen in that year. Those are the types of things that you want to share with people, especially those people on your chicken list. The people who you're most afraid to share with, those are the ones that are gonna really be the rock stars. You know that, right? The ones that we're terrified to talk to. Oftentimes, that's exactly where you need to go. So if you don't have a chicken list, you need to make one. A chicken list is the person who, if you knew without a shadow of a doubt that she wouldn't blow you off and say yes, that you'd ask her in a heartbeat to join your team. Maybe you're really, really impressed to the point of being intimidated by her. Go talk to her. And it's so funny because in my mind, I'm way too goofy and too much of a tomboy to be on anyone's chicken list, and Pam said I was on hers. That totally blew my mind. I'm like, what in the world am I putting out in the world? Like, I had no idea, but she said I always look like I was very focused and very like motivated, and I'm like, I am. I'm always like running somewhere, like to place, and she said that she would always say, if I see her again, then I'm going to give her my card. And so one day she finally stopped me, and I remember she started with, I know I don't look like a Mary Kay consultant, but I was like, I don't know what a Mary Kay consultant looks. I had no knowledge of Mary Kay other than the pink Cadillac. And so she looked really cute, her skin looked great. I had fine lines. I was like, can you help me with my forehead lines? And she was like, yeah. I was like, sure, I'll sit down with you. And to think that I was on her chicken list. So if whoever's on your chicken list, you may have exactly what they've been needing. I didn't know that I needed Mary Kay. I just knew that I had fine lines on my forehead and I didn't want to. And she said she had something to help. And it took the miracle set. From then on, you know, a relationship was formed. So whoever you're afraid to talk to, I can guarantee you, like probably with like 99% certainty, that what you created in your head as her response is way worse than anything that she's going to say. Seriously. Like I'm the type of person that I would go to Capitol Hill and ask someone for a share because I'm like, all she can say is yes or no. Really. Because I'm like, I'm not afraid of the response. It's just a matter of being in the place with people. So make a chicken list, especially if you're looking to make big things happen. Make a chicken list and start picking away at it, okay? Other thing, the charitable areas for our company. This has been a game changer. I know at my last party, I was just kind of going through our little beauty book. And when I started talking about what the company does for breast cancer and for women who are domestic violence survivors, it really softened the hardest person at the table. Ever been at a party where like there's one person who's like super rough and tough, right? She's gonna let you know that she's totally unimpressed with everything you're doing. That person. When we got there, she came in not engaged, really not interested, kind of ho-hum. And it just totally, she was both. She was a cancer survivor and a domestic violence survivor. And so after that, we became the best of friends. And I was like, I'm so glad that Mary Kay gives stuff. Because like she was just really rough and tough. Just know that there are some people who maybe they've been to a million Mary Kay parties and maybe they're super over the facial. They say they've been facial to death, but maybe someone hasn't told them what their money does when they use Mary Kay products. When you tell someone, when you use Mary Kay products, your money goes to this, and start listing out the different benefits for women who are survivors of domestic violence, what different cancers that have affected women. And these are not pennies, guys. These are substantial dollars that are given. That's really important to the most altruistic person who maybe would do just a mascara because they're trying to help the hostess. You start telling them that, you will be so surprised at how their heart is softened to the company, because we're in a phenomenal company, and a lot of people don't know, so it's going to be up to us to share that. And then know the motto, the God first, family second, career third. That I think really probably was hook, line, and sinker for me early on in the business. Pam took me to breakfast and asked me to take out a calendar and made me fill in like my church responsibilities, my family time. I remember her saying, well, where's your husband in this? I was like, oh. So I put it and so, we just got like co-parenting, and I'm like, I didn't even put him down. She's like, you gotta make husband time. So like, he always jokes because it's on the calendar, and he's like, I love Tam. So I put him on there, and then she said, now you can figure out when you can do Mary Kay. Y'all, that was a game. She had me then. I had been working at that point 13 years, no one had ever sat me down as a whole person and said, okay, let's look at what you have. Okay, you fill in. I think at the time I was still teaching Bible study with the kids. I had to give that up. Those little kids every Wednesday night with no help. So now I just do Sundays. God bless teachers. My hat, she said, try every day. Seriously, teachers, y'all are very special. Every time I go on a field trip, I am so grateful for teachers. Y'all are seriously gems because I love my kids more and more each time I go on a field trip. And I'm around others. I'm like, you know what? They're going to be okay. They're going to be okay because you're around 20, you're like, Father. There's not enough money to pay teachers. But yeah, and so just seeing me as a whole person, I was like, this is incredible. So let people know that. Ask people, when you're, has there ever been a time where you've had to put your job, your work over your family, over your faith? And then you talk about what our priorities are. These are the questions that need answers, and these are the questions that you want to pose to people, okay? The next thing, be persistent. So I want to talk, okay, tell me what you think of when you think of persistent.
I'm sorry, that got out.
What'd you say? What do you think about persistence?
Somebody who doesn't give up.
Yeah.
Okay. What else?
Knowing your goals.
Okay.
Most people think being pesky.
I was just gonna say, I want you guys to think not just positive connotations, but negative connotations. Okay. I know. I was gonna say, I wanted you to articulate the. Yeah. So the pink stalker, said pushy, the pink stalker, pesty. So persistence is continuing firmly in spite of difficulty. But here's what persistence is not. Persistence is not running people down in parking lots, pushing your business cards to them as they sprint away from you. That's not what it is. And we have to be careful about the way in which we do things because we mess it up for other consultants. We have people who are afraid to give their phone numbers to a Mary Kay consultant because the Mary Kay consultant who called her 25 times within the first 7 days of getting the card. That's not persistence. That's like some, what's that thing that sleeping with the enemy stalker Facebook? That's not at all what this is. Okay. So when you're booking, what does persistence look like? I can't remember who it was, but someone was talking about, it was either a CD or a training that I was in, and they were saying that someone typically will book on the 5th attempt. I don't remember. Do you remember where that came from?
21 day challenge.
Okay. And so what happens before the 5th attempt? And here's the thing I think is really important. We've got to talk about. We talk about this in research. For us, it's retention when we're trying to retain patients. The context can't be within a day of each other, guys. Like that makes someone think that you're psycho, right? So when we talk about 5 attempts, there may be people that you need to, we often talk, we table. We put them down for later. Or, when someone says, okay, I just have a lot going on right now. Can you call me in 2 weeks? I'll put her down and call her in 2 weeks. Don't call her in a few days because it's still not 2 weeks. And so just being able to have some type of system where you can get back in touch with people because it does take a lot of times. And when I think about it, I'm probably not an easy person to book. No one's trying to book me for Mary Kay, but for other things, I think about my schedule. And even if I'm interested, even if I'm not avoiding the person, I'm not necessarily the easiest person. Are you laughing?
Yes.
Are you trying to book something with me? Okay. I'm there. No, seriously. And I want to do things, but I started looking at all that's before me, and I'm like, I can't really see it. So just know that there are customers like that. They really do want to sit down, and when someone's blowing you off, right? You can tell that, and it's okay to release that person for a minute until they tell you to run up and die. It's okay. Yeah, when someone's like, okay, she's not super motivated. Pam always says don't ride a dead horse. You have to know when it's time to dismount and just let it go. Sometimes it may be a whole string of referrals, like this one right here. I had a consultant in Virginia who had a string of referrals, and they were all sophomores in college, and she was getting really, really frustrated. And I said, sweetie, you have a ton of them, but they're in the same situation. Let's set this aside and let's go a different way. It's okay to just kind of release it. She was really getting frustrated, and she ended up just making that change instead of sticking with that stream of referrals really picked up her business. But she was getting really aggravated. So, when we say be persistent, you want to be smart about it. You want to be systematic about it. You want to, one of the things that I think really helps is to tell the person, you know, like if they don't give you a time frame, give them a time frame. I have my research staff do that, you know, especially like if maybe they've had some type of medical emergency or someone in their family's had a medical emergency, to express sympathy about that. You know, we're so sorry. Okay, I realize this is a good time. What I'm going to do is, and then to put that in there. Okay, so there's like an expectation of that.
Sheikilya. And with the 21-day challenge, that's really important because sometimes if like one of the things they tell you to do is when you do it by voice and you say, hey, I've been trying to call you, you're probably busy. I'm going to check back with you in a couple months, and then you follow it up with a text. I just sent you a quick voicemail and I follow up with a couple months. I've gotten responses right back because either don't call me back in 2 months or I've been meaning to call you and I just haven't gotten around to it.
Because what it does is it releases them. When you say I'm going to call, it like lets their guard down, right? And so I think that's a fantastic idea.
Good question. What do you do, like, I understand for referrals and, like, you know, doing that with referrals, what do you do for the more time-sensitive leads? So people who enter, like, fish bowls or, like, if you're out lead generating, doing, like working win or something like that where they're entering to win something and it's kind of, like, on the spot. How do you go about, like, touching base with them? Because I feel like this could just be something that I'm thinking in my head, which is totally possible, but like the farther you get away from it, the less likely they are to remember that they entered even till.
Yeah, I think, and that's why being strategic and being systematic, I would absolutely, like if you're at an event or something and you have a free, I know I did a vendor event and then they signed up for like a free microdermabrasion treatment or something like that. I would contact them closer to the time. That's when, and so all of my referrals don't get contacted in the same timeliness. I'm gonna be honest with you guys about that. Those would get priority just because.
Like, as far as like following up, so like say you made that first contact and like with our sheets, like we ask if it's okay to text. So like,
so you're
99% of the people will circle it's fine to text, and so you text if they don't respond. So like, where do you go about like following up with them, just, you know, at the right times? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So they said it was okay to text and it didn't respond. I don't like to text people multiple times within a few days. I don't like to do that. I can imagine that in that situation. I probably the next week.
Okay.
I would say you may, you know, I texted you last week about your entry this weekend and I just wanted to let you know whatever. And we've talked about this before. I don't do a lot of cold texting to people from those types of leads because it may be that they said they wanted to be text because they could avoid it. Okay. And I don't want them to respond back and be like, look, don't ever text me again or whatever.
Yeah.
So do you want to?
Yeah, because I got one like that, and it just really made, I have really thick skin, but it just really made me just a little bit of me die inside at that moment when she was just like, don't text me anymore. But she told me to text her.
Yeah.
I was,
See, like me, I prefer text messages, not because I can avoid them, but because a lot of times I'm in a position where I can't answer a phone call.
Right.
And I may not be able to listen to a voicemail, but I can read a text. But I would respond to it. I would acknowledge receipt of it in some way. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially if I'm interested.
Okay.
And when someone texts me and I don't want any part of it, then I may not respond. So I would say, you know, within a few days of the drawing or whatever, and then a week later. But I wouldn't reach out to them more than 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
I think you're going to be wasting your energy with that.
Okay.
So I've been very hesitant about calling the people that I get from the cards when you do parties and they tell me to write down names. And so this week I made a concerted effort to follow up with all my referrals. So I'm like, I'm scared and I'm not doing this potentially, but I feel very awkward calling people. And then so I have an out-of-state number. And then so people don't answer the phone. So like, how do you handle that?
Yeah, no, and so I'm one of the people who I don't answer out of state numbers. Well, let me be honest, I don't answer any numbers I don't recognize.
Right, and that's why I was like, voicemail. So I left a voicemail, and then on my voicemail, I know I need to do. I stopped because I was like, I need to get a prepared speech together.
I was gonna say what you need is a fantastic script that you just go to, like, because you should expect to go to voicemail because if they don't have your number saved, like for me, because somehow telemarketers are starting to call, and I thought that they weren't allowed to, and so I don't answer numbers that I don't know. And a lot of times it is a telemarketer, and then I go and I block them. But if they leave a voicemail, I listen and I'll call the person back. But I don't want to, it's like a pause and then hello. So people may be, experiencing that. So have a fantastic, and I know Tisha has something for you. Have a fantastic script that you are going to say when the voicemail comes on. Don't be surprised if they answer, but have a fantastic script that you're going to say when the voicemail, and it'll release you from that. You shouldn't be trying to think of what you're going to say.
Right.
You go by the script, just know that scripts are tried and true. Stick with that and keep it moving. Go to the next person.
Okay.
And
And then,
this is what I did those of you who don't know, I went to Philadelphia, where I'm from, and I did this massive all-day marathon of facials. And so I got 96 referrals from that, right? Now, I'm a Philadelphian. We're not as nice as you guys. So I already know that. So what I did with the referrals, I did not do any phone calls. I text them. I took a picture with each and every person that day. I text them and I said, hey, you don't know me. My name is Candy. But, and I put this person told me this was the best way to call you. I just had a facial with her. Doesn't she look great? That kind of thing. And then I got 30 positive responses back from that.
Wow.
So
that's what I started.
Yeah. So because I know that, and it was funny because one of my friends said, girl, I got all kinds of people calling me talking about, who is this Candy and why does she have my sister's picture? I said, see, I know Philly.
No, but I started with, we were doing a makeover contest, and I started doing a picture of their after picture, my picture, and saying, Portia had a fantastic time at our makeover and wants you to have a time too. And I had people respond back, wait, what does she have on? Even ones who wouldn't agree to sit down, what lipstick is that she has on or something? So they would acknowledge, because it doesn't seem as much like this random stalker.
like, how did she get my number?
Yeah. Right. And that is like, because of how some people do it, it does get tough for us because they're like, well, I had a Mary Kay consultant do it. And I love it when someone texts me something that they got from someone that's cool. They're like, do you know anything about this? Or how did they, so we have to be careful with that. But I found that that's a winner to do. They can see the face of the person that they know, and then they see me so they know who I am.
Yes.
That's calling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, do you do that where it's individually? Because I've done it where I'm with that person at the end of that appointment. But sometimes if I had a party and I don't have time to take pictures of everybody, send in, hey, can you send me a quick, y'all do a selfie of your look?
I was thinking about that because it would save time.
Yes.
I thought about that too, like it coming from the actual person. And what I was doing, and see, the thing is when I was doing the makeovers, because it was color, I was doing more like 2 or 3 people at a time. It gets tough to do that with a party. When it's a big party, I guess 3 is a party. But I'm saying when it's like a party, it's tougher to do that. And so I'm snapping a picture, and then at home I'm in a photo grid with my face and their face and the words.
Okay. Do y'all oh God, my question was say, when you ask people to take the selfie, are you telling them, okay, I'm gonna use your picture?
Yes.
Yeah, I always let them know it's the after, because I would do it before and after. I'm like, I'm not gonna share your before. It's gonna be in my portfolio, but I'm gonna send the after picture.
And I just recently did that because some of my leads, I was doing the scripts without the picture, and then I just sent one even last night, and literally within 2 seconds she sent, and I just said, I'm including a picture so you know I'm a real person, and I sent like just one of those funny emojis, and she was like, ha 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 ha, and then it was like it lightened the mood.
Yeah.
And she booked, but if it was, even I don't know if it would be a lot on the person that's getting the picture, but even if she took a picture of those friends she's calling, I wonder if it would be a good idea. Hey, why don't you send a quick text to tell them I'm going to be following up with them about that complimentary facial, and just show them your makeover so that they can see, how good you look and how much fun time you had.
I actually thought about that very thing. It's getting them, and it's also, I'm always layering.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're starting to book right then and there, like vibes right now.
Exactly. I feel so awkward being like, it was like, how did you get my number?
Yeah, you're thinking hard about it, and that's a hard thing to do. Is not to overthink in this business. Like, we can come up with the most fantastical
But if
stories.
that script, that's 21-day challenge, it
just a sentence in there that says, hey, I got your number from so-and-so, and she said this would be the best way to get in contact with you.
Yeah.
So,
I missed that.
And even that could be something as they're waiting, as you're closing out guests, they could be texting their selfies and do even a fun thing of, hey, when I get to you with your goodie bag, I'll have a free eyeshadow if you've already texted your selfie to your friends.
Somebody write that down. I like it.
Like, if
You
they're,
debut on June 1st, don't you?
yes.
I like it.
if they, while they're, waiting around, say, oh my gosh, we've had so much fun, whoever is the first to text out their selfies and their friends on the back of on their referral sheet gets a free eyeshadow from me when you come get your goodie bag.
I like it. I like it. You guys in the same debut class for sure. June 1st. All right. The other thing in persistence, I hear them doing the music, so I want to make sure we wrap up. For team building, persistence also. Asking more than once, okay? So it may be that when you've asked her, she wasn't in that mindset and she's not interested in her, she tells you this isn't the right time for me. Don't throw that name away. Go back to her. Pam often says that a woman's life changes every 90 days. When Pam asked me in the spring of 2012, I was completely disinterested and wouldn't even let her share the opportunity with me. When they shared with me in the spring of 2014, I was like, well, we just paid $3,000 in car repairs, a little bit of extra money may be nice. So just know that circumstances may change for people. If they tell you, find out where they are on a scale of 1 to 10 and make a mental note for yourself just to check back with them. And it may not be that you say, oh, I just want to know if you've reconsidered. Start a conversation. Let's be people, start a conversation with them and just kind of see and make sure that you're living out in front of them. Let them see you. Nothing is better than when someone shares for them to see you.
And I just want to say that that's happening with me right now, finishing up BIQ, and they don't know what that means. And I'm not sharing that with them. But there, a lot of people, I've opened up Facebook. I have a close friends list, an acquaintances list, and I pick and choose what I want people to see. And I'm striking up random conversations with these people that I shared with maybe a year ago. And one lady I talked to at work the other day, she's like, oh my gosh, you guys are just having so much fun and da-da-da-da. And one thing I do know that taxes were definitely important to her. When I shared with her last summer, she says, well, how did you do on your taxes? And I said, well, I'm brand new. I won't know until the spring, but I can tell you what my recruiter, how she did with her taxes. And she was just like, oh, okay, unmoved. But so we're talking and she's talking about how much fun we're having. And then I said, oh, Dwalin, by the way, I forgot to tell you, girl, I got my first tax refund for like the first time in almost 10 years. And she was like, what? I was like, you really need to think about it. She says, girl, I know. I've been watching you and da-da-da. Yeah, let's do lunch. So we're doing lunch on Tuesday. Because I know that that's what's important to her.
Let them see you.
That's what I was telling Allison too, is I think that, I'm new and I've got, a couple people underneath me and I'm working, but I think there's so many fads right now. It's, hey, I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm doing that. I think people are sitting back and watching to see how committed you are. It's like, so if you don't get that right away of, hey, I want to jump in, like, don't just write them off because they want to sit back and see if you're going to stay committed and it's not going to be a fad and it's not going to be,
absolutely.
So people are watching.
That's so true.
And and a lot of times if you sit down with people one-on-one, they will tell you just that, I didn't really think you would stick with this because I just couldn't believe you were doing it. I didn't know why you were doing it. You don't have to do this. But now that I've been watching you and you got your car and this, I am so proud of you. This is exciting. So tell me more.
That's what, let them see you because they do. They think that you're going to be one of the people who you're really excited about this week, next month, nothing. Month after that, you're doing something else, and so they're like, okay. But when they see your consistency and they see your passion, they see that you're moving, they're like, okay, maybe this is legit. So I can't say enough about how important it is to live out in front of people. Now, I can tell you this, being pretty private, it's funny to be on Facebook on other people's pages. My Facebook page is pretty private. Most things are pretty private. But because the Mary Kay world is so Facebook driven, like going to LA, there were people there who were talking to me and they knew me from Facebook. And I was like, whoa, like I had a minute where people see you, not just customers or potential team members, social consultants see you. And you'll be surprised at people who are inspired by what they're seeing for you. And you're like, me? Like I'm a hot mess, me? But they are. So live out in front of people and don't be a closet consultant. Don't be a private. People that are secret consultants are broke consultants.
One of Pam's customers is actually a server and we went to school together in West Alabama, and she's been seeing stuff on my Facebook page, and she mentioned to Pam, like, oh, I see. So Chris is doing Mary Kay now. She was like, yes, she is. And she's doing pretty good. Pam was like, she's doing great. She was like, oh, okay, I might need to. And I was like, okay, so, hey, you posting and doing stuff is
tagging people. It's
No,
all.
it's not on your personal page or your.
It's
Okay.
not personal,
So,
but it's
like
just,
celebrations,
I
right.
choose what I stick on there. Is only when I'm winning. Is when I'm putting out there.
And so, for consultants, like when she picked up her car, my little sister was so excited that someone thought that she was getting it because they see, a lot of people aren't used to women celebrating each other. She was so excited at Porsche's her power partner. She was so excited at her car party that someone was like, so the little one, is she getting a car? Like, no, she's just excited for her friend. We spoke to people though, because people are like, wait, women celebrate, like for real? Like y'all are that happy for each other? That speaks to someone. Someone who's in a very negative environment, that speaks to them. She was genuine, like she was out of her mind dancing and,
completely unfiltered,
Unconditional love.
cameo.
Yes.
So
They're like, they
it's
really
real.
love each other. Like
It's real to people.
Yeah. The last thing, on the be persistent. Tisha often says this: don't quit before you get to the good part. If you quit too soon, you may be quitting a day or so before the really, really good part. Don't quit before the good part. It's kind of like a book. If you have a really good book you're reading, you are not going to throw that book aside. You can feel it as its climax. You're not going to throw that book aside when you're getting to the good part. Don't do that with your business. Don't do that with your team building. Don't do that with, sharing the products. Don't quit before the good part. The last thing, be purposeful. So when you think about purposeful, I'm not going to go around and ask. I want you to think about being intentional. So not like willy-nilly, I think that's the technical term, willy-nilly, haphazardly. Like be intentional about what it is that you're doing. So oftentimes people will say, well, I don't have time to work my Mary Kay business. If I am looking for a time to work my Mary Kay business, I'm going to be wasting time. I have to work it where I am. There was a day when I was literally making 12 calls sitting at a soccer field. I don't care that they can hear the kids in the background. What they'll get to see is that I'm a mom who's sitting at my child's practice doing follow-up appointments, and there's someone who wants to try to repair. Like I have to work it where I am. So just be intentional about whatever it is that you do, okay? Affirmation statements. Affirmation statements are big in our national area that we're building. I know that everyone doesn't do an affirmation statement, but what we typically do is when someone gets into a red jacket, we have them share their affirmation statement with the unit at the unit meeting. It doesn't mean you have to wait until you're red jacket to write an affirmation statement. That's just going to be when you share with the unit. But affirm yourself. And if you don't know what an affirmation statement is, you can go on YouTube and look. A fantastic one is Gloria Mayfield Banks. She knows it by heart. I just know part of it. I just play like I know it. But I know, like what the songs that you like, and then it gets to the chorus, you get out. I'm that person. I'm like banking on the magic, but I don't know. I really don't know. But it's great to go and just look at how other people speak life into themselves. The bottom line is this: you're not going to feel powerful every day. You're not going to feel like a winner every day. You're not going to feel like you're beasting every day. I wish that we would. It's just not how this works. But we're tough. So speak life into yourself. Write an affirmation statement. Write some affirming statements. I am powerful. I am this. We talked at our winter retreat about, I'm a master booker. Everyone wants to book with me. I meet 5 people each day. I book 2 of them on the spot. Just think things that are positive and speak those things into yourself, because there are going to come days where either your business is not what you want, your kids are doing something crazy, maybe your other job, maybe your spouse, or whatever. And so you're going to need to be able to speak that into yourself. Okay. So to wrap up, be passionate, feel strongly about your product, feel strongly about your opportunity, know the history of your company. If you have not read Miracles Happen, read it, go through it. It really will. It'll like speak to your heart on that. It's really important to know how she started this company. Be persistent. We're not going to be pesty. We're not going to make people go, be pleasantly persistent, because there's somebody who you shared with who you've forgotten about, or someone who you tried to book and you forgot about, and now she's waiting on you. She doesn't have your number. She's waiting on you to follow back up with her. And then you want to be purposeful. Live on purpose. Don't think that things are going to just happen. You can't just walk out here and think, you know what, someone's going to ask me for a roll-up bag today. Why? Right? Go make them want to ask you for one. You have to do something. And just know that even if your schedule, and I know crazy hectic schedules. I want you to trust me when I say I know crazy hectic schedules. There's still something that you can do. Think through it, be strategic. If you are not a director or soon to be director, reach out to your director about what it is that you can do to work your business in the midst of all your cases. Okay? All right, ladies. Any questions? I think we're in good time. 11:05. Any questions?
I'll make a comment.
Uh-huh.
Everything you said can be found at a sales meeting. And I will tell you that all the years I've been in Mary Kay, whenever someone, meets me at a store or something, like, oh, you sell Mary Kay? And I go, and they say, well, I used to do it. And they'll whine a little bit. And I'll say, can I ask you a question? Did you attend training? No. Did you go to a sales meeting? No. No. I guarantee you, everything you just spoke about is at the weekly meeting. Unconditional love, unconditional focus, unconditional. We want you to succeed.
Yeah.
You don't get that at home every day. You don't get that at work every day. We do. And I think that we sometimes, as directors, we're trying to pour that into them, and they're maybe don't see the benefit of a salesman. It is so powerful.
I agree. Being connected, honestly, like a success meeting.
Oh, okay.
Regular meeting.
Being
Okay.
connected is so important, because I'm going to tell you this, whether you're winning or not, whether you're going to be the queen of the meeting or not,
Doesn't matter.
there's something about being connected. There are so many times. I remember my first $1,000 day ever was at a point when I was not winning. And there was something that I heard at a sales meeting, which wasn't the bulk of the meeting. It really wasn't, just something that I took, and I was like, I'm going to run with that. I didn't make an announcement or anything. I was like, okay, I'm going to run with that. I implemented it. Our meeting's on Monday. I implemented it on Wednesday, and that Friday, I sold $1,000, $1,005 at a state championship game for my son.
There you go.
From being at the meeting. I'm serious. There is something about being connected, and I think so I wasn't selling to the people in attendance. I implemented something on Wednesday that I heard Pam say that she did once, and so I implemented it on that Wednesday. It was Monday night when I heard it. It was a letter, and I poured it out, just like when I first started the business. One thing that I can do is I can share my passion. Like I told you guys on Monday, I'm not a jazz hands person. I'm very low I, but I feel strongly about things. The things that I believe in this company. I believe in opportunity, and I believe in the products. And so I decided that I was going to share my heart in this, and then just let them know what I was going for. I think I was going for the car, my first car. And I put that in there, and at 11:59, we were at $1,005, and I had been in a state championship game. There were customers who were checking in with me to see how close we were. How close are we? Okay, went to another sister, like coming back with orders. And so there's something about, sometimes people don't have a cause to champion in their life, and they want to help you win. You'd be so surprised at the number of people who, if you told them what you're trying to do, they'll go to work to help you.
Yes.
They'll go to work. Even if they said that they don't want to join you in this opportunity, they'll go to work to help you reach your goals if you share it.
Especially women.
Especially women.
Will help them. It is not the way people perceive us. We do care.
Absolutely.
We will care about you and
Absolutely.
support you and so forth. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. And if they don't have that at home or job or friends or whatever, they get it when they walk in the store.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this is a pink bubble. Like,
It
life
is.
is
It is.
different in here.
It is.
It's
Amen.
different in here.
Amen.
You can try to explain it, but really someone has to kind of just come in and see, like, it's a different world. Any other questions or comments?
Are you filming?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm kind of concerned about it, right?
Don't.
It's like,
Oh, no. Don't be, because
I
I'm going to
don't
go
like
back and
cameras.
watch this a lot.
Okay.
It's been tremendously
oh, thank you.
helpful.
Thank you.
So helpful.
Thank
Where would I find it?
This is Sarah Catherine.
That's so
Yeah.
Snap. I do. That's my kid.
Yeah. That's Sarah Catherine's mom.
Just my
Yeah.
girl. I've been watching her for 3 years. I finally told her. She
Yeah.
said, I have no idea how long you've been. What? I said, I've been thinking about it for 3 years now.
She told me this morning. She's so excited. She told me this morning.
Did she?
I was so excited. I was like, I love your mom. I was like, I didn't know if you remembered meeting me at her party.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've never forgotten you. Actually, when you were talking about sharing things on Facebook, and you mentioned, gosh, I find people I don't even know, and I thought,
One of those people.
Yes. And because she was at my daughter when she picked up her baby Cadillac.
Yeah.
A bunch of you guys were. And I thought y'all were adorable. Y'all were so
We
cute.
were very excited. I
I
was like,
thought y'all were so cute. I shared y'all's photo on my Facebook.
oh,
I thought y'all were so cute. But anyway.
I love
So
it.
I didn't know if you did because you were saying I'm about to crawl, but because you were saying, "Oh, this is just weird." People were new about me, and I'm like, "Oh snap!" I put her. It was you and someone else. I don't know you. Who was the other lady that was with you?
Probably my
Your
sister. My sister. Yeah.
Yes. And then there was Sir Catherine right in between y'all.
Yeah. It's funny because I was about to introduce myself to someone in Knoxville, and I was like, "Hey, I'm Sheikilya." She's like, "I know who you are," and she turns to her consultants that are with her and tells my whole story. That throws me off. This is a big bubble, like seriously. And I was like, "Oh my goodness," because I'm like introducing myself. She's like, "I know who you are." And it's Facebook. It's Facebook because people share. Like people are so happy for others, and they share, and so then they get to know your story because women are celebrating women.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
Can I say yay?
You can say bye if you want.
Bye. Bye.